So yeah, Kevin McCarthy was voted out as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Now this is not breaking news. I'm sure lots of you probably heard this by now. I just wanted to give my brief take on the situation. You basically had most of the Democrats, if not all of the Democrats within the House, that voted against McCarthy, which is obviously not surprising. But you also had a handful of Republicans led by Representative Matt Gaetz, who also voted against McCarthy, and that was the X factor basically that took it over the top. Now it's definitely known that Matt Gaetz has had his issues and his differences with Kevin McCarthy for a little while now. He doesn't agree with Kevin McCarthy's leadership style, but when you combine that with the fact that there's a large contingency within the Republican Party that does not like the fact that Kevin McCarthy kind of worked with Democrats in order to avert a government shutdown, as surprising as that might sound, that exists. And that was enough to do the job. And yeah, it's definitely lots of chaos and confusion and disorganization right now within the Republican Party. I think it generally speaks to the broader scope of things that there's a civil war right now going on within the Republican Party. You have a large faction, probably the largest faction of the party, that's, pro-Trump and, Trump loyalists, and will probably walk through the fire with Trump. And that's definitely, the polls show that's definitely the largest factor, especially if you're talking about grassroots supporters and the average voter, the average Republican voter. But then you also have this large growing contingency within the party that's not as big, but definitely, growing more significant, that does not really mess with Trump anymore. They've seen how the Republicans have underperformed basically ever since Trump was elected president. He was elected in 2016. The Republicans nationally underperformed in 2018 in the midterms. They underperformed in 2020, clearly when Trump was voted out, and they underperformed in the 2022 midterms. And they see this trend, and they feel like the Republican Party should go in a different direction. And these two factions of the party are now kind of at odds with each other. And, clearly as progressives, that's definitely, not the worst thing in the world to see. The less likely these people are to be elected, the more likely their policies will never see light of day. And, obviously they are in some states, but I mean, on a larger scale. And yeah, if they start to lose power and influence within our system, at the same time, this is not a message for us to just, not pay attention to things. We still very much need to pay attention to the inner workings of our own party, progressives and Democrats, and we need to definitely, as I said before, start looking at alternative candidates besides Joe Biden, because he is also underperforming right now in lots of polls. So yeah, it's something to pay attention to right now, what's going on with everything. It's something to take note on, but it's definitely not something to be overly confident about. Let's still be on our P's and Q's. Let's make sure we get out there and vote, and avert any further damage to the country.